Hi, it's Mary. Welcome to the Paper Turtle. Today we're doing a craft along using things from my last haul video. As I promised in the video, I don't know if I'm going to promise that again. I only say that because it's a lot of like prep work, and sometimes I just get busy with other things and I can't do it. I'm going to try to do it after the hauls, but I'm not going to promise. So if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. But today I am. I did that. I actually filmed that last haul video several months ago. And right after I filmed it, I did my sample to actually do this video. But then it got put aside, and it's been a while since I did my sample video and prepared this. So if I'm a little bit rusty here, then just kind of bear with me. This is not a tutorial. This is just a craft along. So if you have things that you want to work on and do while I'm doing this, go ahead and do that, or you can just watch, or whatever it is that you would like to do. What I'm going to be using from the haul are these little, do you remember these little books? If you haven't watched that haul video yet, go back and watch it. There's some fun stuff in there, and you'll see how I use some of the things. You'll see these things that I use in the haul video. Anyway, one of the things that I picked up were these couple of little tiny books from the 70s. They're just so cute. This one's a little alphabet book. I don't know if I'm going to put this together as an alphabet thing, but we'll see. I'm just going with the flow, and whatever happens here. What I'm doing is I am taking one of these little books, and I'm going to make a little journal out of it. And here's my sample. This is the one that I did. And it's so cute. Isn't that just adorable? I just love the size of this thing. It's got 2 signatures in it with various papers and stuff. And I did use some of the pages from the book. I haven't decorated it. If we have time today, maybe I'll do a little bit of decorating. But I just made the journal and put it together. And I just love it. I think it's just adorable. So we're going to do another one with this other book. And I'm going to use this beautiful paper. I have no idea the brand or where it came from. It was just in my scrapbook paper stash. And I think that this is going to look really nice. I'm going to use a couple of these for the cover and the back. And then I'm going to use this side for the inside. I think that there's plenty of paper to do all that. So I'm going to just set that aside for right now. And the first thing that we're going to do is disassemble the book. Now this particular book, I'm going to have to cover the covers. I know it kind of defeats the purpose, and I could just use a piece of cardboard or something for the cover, but I did buy it to make it into a little journal, so that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to lose all its originality, but there's not a whole lot I can do about that. The inside is quite, I don't know if it's water stained or, I don't know, it's just dirty. Looks like it got wet. So it's going to be all covered. So to do that, I am going to remove the insides just by cutting them out. Very simple procedure. Oh, it's kind of rotten. It is, after all, what, 50 years old, probably? So it's pretty old. Now, when you're doing this, you could use the existing spine if you wanted to, but I'm not going to because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's just fresher with a new spine, and I can make it a little bit bigger too, I think, which it probably needs to be a little bit bigger. So I'm just cutting the spine off. which it probably could have just been ripped off. And I'm going to trim that up just a little bit. So basically what you have left is a board. But it's okay because you're still repurposing something, you know. But if you don't have one of these little books and you want to do this, just get a good sturdy piece of cardboard and you can achieve the same thing. Oh goodness, my cat. You may hear my cat. She's kind of running around here. And I don't know why she's out there crying. The door's open. She can come in. I'm just going to brush this into my trash can. Yeah, that book was very dry. It was destined for the trash, I think. So I'm glad I saved it. All right, so it doesn't matter like which way, what was the front, what was the back. You just have two pieces of cardboard here. So first I'm going to cover what's going to be the cover. And I want to decide what image here I want on the cover. And I was thinking about this flower right here. And I don't want it exactly center because I'm going to want to put like a book plate or something on there. So I think I'm going to go right about like this. Yeah. And I'm going to just trace around here so I know this is how big the book is. If I can even see that. But I want to cut the piece a little bigger than the size of the book because I want to wrap it around. So I'm going to cut it probably like maybe about this much, which looks like it's about 1/2 inch. Doesn't have to be exact, it doesn't have to be perfect, because after you wrap it around, it's going to get covered. Remember, this is not a tutorial. You know how when you're working on something and you're just kind of, you know, talking yourself through it and in your, I don't know, I talk to myself when I'm working. But when you have the camera on, it becomes a little more awkward. And I still feel like I'm talking to myself, but so this is going to go right here. I want a piece of paper to glue on. And I'm going to just put the glue right on here. Now what I'm going to use for glue, to glue this on, is Aleene's Tacky Glue. Because to me, that it works just fine. And I have to use quite a bit of it. Boy, that came out really fast and easy. And so I don't want to use like the art glitter glue because that's like super expensive. So then I'm just spreading it so it's all even. Probably put a little too much glue on here. This is a good way to do a journal for the first time if you've never done one. I know there's some people out there. I always hear people saying things like, like I want to do it, but I'm scared. I haven't done it yet. Or I've collected all the stuff, but I just haven't done anything. I'm not sure what your hesitation is, or what you're waiting for, but just do it. Just do it, because, I mean, I don't know, the perfect time isn't really going to come along, is it? I guess that depends on what you're waiting for, but if you just do a practice one, and if you mess up a little bit, it's okay. Oh, I'm trying to get this a little more centered. That's another thing with the Aleenes. You have a lot of wiggle room because it takes a little bit longer to dry. I don't know why I'm worrying about the glue. All that's going to get covered up. What I really want is to smooth this out. Ooh, that's going to look nice. And now I'm going to fold these corners over. Now there's different people do this different ways. And I've tried different ways, and I still haven't quite figured out the way that I like best. So I don't know. I'm still debating here. So I've seen people like miter the corner like this, kind of. I guess it has to be, you have to give a little bit of room between the actual corner. Leave a little bit there, I think. I guess you could just go straight across. I don't know. This may not. This is what I mean by trying it. You have to try it. If you don't try the different things, you're never going to know what is going to work for you. So you have to just try things. And you'll figure it out. You'll figure out what works best for you and what isn't going to work. And yeah. So for doing the flaps, I'm going to use this this other glue. It's still a white glue, but it's a little bit thicker than the Aleenes, I think. This is actually a Nouveau. Let me see if I can show it to you. It's made by Nouveau Deluxe Adhesive. And a company called My Sweet Petunia makes this little glue gun thing. And it comes with these bottles of glue. And they just slip right in there. And then it squeezes the bottle for you. It comes with 2 bottles with 2 different size tips. And when I run out of this Nouveau glue, I'm just going to fill the bottle with the art glitter glue. One with the art glitter glue and the other one that has a little bit bigger tip with the Aleenes. And it makes using the glue much easier because you don't have to like put all your weight into squeezing the bottle. Mine's been sitting there for a little while, so it took a minute to squeeze out. But it gives a nice thin line like the art glitter glue does. Comes with a little stand that you put it in. It's very nice. I like it a lot. I bought it from my local craft store. And I'm sure you can get it online somewhere. You can get it online from her. It's Betty's Creative Studio in Hernando, Florida. I'm sure she's still got some, or she can get some if she doesn't have any left. But I like it. I like it a lot. That little thing. You can put any kind of glue you want in the bottles. I should put clear glue in one of them instead of the Aleenes. Maybe I'll do that. So when you're covering this makes a really nice smooth cover, and it covers the sides of your the cardboard or book board or whatever it is you're using. And you can finagle your corners. Come on, glue. Now, see, here's where I'm still trying to figure this out. I've been doing this for a few years now, and I still haven't quite perfected this. This corner right here, you can still see the book board through there, and I don't like that. I want them to come, these corners to come together, and this one is a little wonky. I want them to come together nicely. As many times as I've seen other people do this, I cannot get that little detail to be exactly the way that I want it to be, and I don't know why. If you have any suggestions for that, please let me know, because that's kind of a imperfection that like I said, I'm still trying to figure out how to perfect it. Okay, so that's going to be our cover. Oh, isn't that pretty? That is so pretty. I do not like this. I'll just squish it down, I guess. Yeah, that's all right. So there's our front cover. Now we'll do the same thing for the back cover. I was thinking this, but now I'm thinking just this little bud back here, because yeah, I think that would look good right like that. Okay. So again, we're going to trace around the cover to get the size. I positioned it so that I didn't have to cut these two sides. Now after you cut it, if you want to erase those pencil marks, you can, but I don't think they're going to show. Do they show on here? No, I don't see any pencil marks. Maybe a tiny bit right there. Is that a pencil mark? No, that's part of the design. So they don't even show, but that's up to you. And we'll just do the same thing. I don't know what is up with my camera, why it keeps moving like that. So I'm very sorry if that is bothering you. I'm trying to keep it straight. Boy, this glue's coming out fast. Probably because I store it upside down and it's a full bottle right now. Yes, I'm telling you, making a journal like this is so easy. And you really should try it if you haven't made one. I can get really messy. I really can. All right, let me try these corners again. So I'm going to clip it, and I'm going to try to leave a little bit on that corner. Let's see how that works. Probably no better than the other one. And it's okay that it's not really straight, because this is going to get covered, this inside. We're more concerned with like the edges. How's my corner? Well, it's still not meeting. I don't know. It's better, I think, a little bit better. What do you think? They're okay. Just holding it there for a second, just until it catches. That Nouveau glue is really good glue. I would say that it rivals the Art Glitter glue. I don't know where you buy it. I haven't looked like on Amazon or anywhere. Maybe scrapbook.com might carry it. I don't know if the Nouveau site sells direct or not, but you know, you may be able to get it somewhere. All right, that's going to be the back cover. I know on the paper it went this way. I don't know. Do I like it better this way or this way? Maybe I do like it better that way. So it'll be like this. Front and back. Yeah, I like that. That's so pretty. Okay, now we want to cover this. I'm going to use the same paper, only the back of it. Just have to decide, do I want the wood grain to go up and down, or do I want it to go crossways? I think I'm going to do it up and down. So what we want to do, again, we're going to draw out the size of the cover here. You can also, if you don't want to do it this way, you can also just cut whatever the measurements are. You know, it's 3 by 4 1/4. But yeah, it's just as easy just to trace it. And then on this one, we are going to cut just inside the line. Now, how much inside the line you cut is up to you, because it depends on how much of this paper you want showing on the edge. I'm going to cut this, and then I'm going to try it and see how it looks. And I really should be using a paper cutter, because I can't cut a straight line. So I may have to recut this. It's not too bad though. So it's going to go right here. So I think I need to cut mine just a tiny bit smaller. And I am going to use a paper cutter just because I don't cut straight. And it doesn't need to be too much smaller. Let's see, this was the straight line. Just a tiny bit, I think. Oh, what's happening here? Okay. And then was the straight edge. So I need to put this down here. This also will straighten up those other edges for me, which they did need to be straightened. All right. Does that look all right? Or does it need to be, I think, just a tiny bit more off of here? Now, if you want to be like exact about this, you take the measurements and then take off like 1/4 of an inch or whatever, however much you want showing. There we go. That's perfect. Can you see how I've got a little bit of the front cover showing, but not a whole lot? You really see a little bit of the corner there, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. It's not, I don't need to be that perfect with it. And then the same thing on the back, but I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this bottom part. Yes, I should use the cutter, but I have a guide now. I'm using the other piece as a guide, so hopefully, hopefully I will get it straight. Yep. Okay. Trying to think which glue I want to use to adhere this one. Because again, you want to smooth it out. I think I'm just gonna go with the Aleene's. Yeah. I'm thinking, because the alternative is just a glue stick, because I'm just gluing the paper to paper. And I think I'm going to do that because it's not as wet. And I won't worry about getting glue on the very edge. And I'm going to use this craft bond that I have. This is like a corner glue stick. It's triangular in shape. It's very interesting. Found it in my stash of stuff. I didn't know I had it. And I'm like, this has been in here a while. I'm going to pull it out and use it. It's really no different to me than the round ones. I don't see the advantage of the triangle. But I could be missing something. I don't know. All right, so this goes this way. Oh no! Did you see what I just did? Did you see that? You're yelling at me, weren't you? I glued it on the wrong side of the paper. That's okay. I'm just going to now glue this in here. That's not what I wanted for the back, but it's all right. We got to go with it, right? I could just let the glue dry on there and then re-glue it, and it would just have like a coating. But I don't have time for that. So now we have a different inside cover, but that's okay because I think it looks all right still. It's okay. I'm not sweating it. But I am going to do this one on the right side. I can't believe I did that. That's like a mistake we've all made, isn't it? Where you put the glue on the wrong side of whatever you're gluing. It's because I'm not paying attention. I'm talking. I'm trying to come up with conversation, and it's It doesn't work for me. I have to concentrate when I am working. That's why when you hear me talking when I'm doing this, sometimes my speech is all like it sounds like I don't know what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. I'm just not saying it well because I'm concentrating on something else. Okay. Now, you may be wondering, why do you wipe this down with this paper towel or napkin all the time? Well, I do that to kind of burnish it and to smooth out any air bubbles that might be under there. It just makes it smooth. Okay. Front, back, inside. It would have looked better on the other side, but that's all right. We're not going to worry about it, are we, Mary? No. Okay, now the next step is the spine. And what I'm using for spine are pieces of cardboard. This is just cut from a cereal box. I have pre-measured it because I cut them when I did the first book. And these are a 1/2 inch. Now I'm using 2 of them and I'm gluing them together just to give them a little bit of stability. Oh my gosh. Oh, that probably wasn't a good sight. Sorry about that. Just to give them a little bit of stability. If you have a thicker piece of cardboard, you can use that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't matter what it looks like because it's going to be all covered up. All right, so the way that I'm doing this is going to go right here. Actually, I think I'm going to do one more layer just because these are so thick. I don't want to make the spine too thick because I won't be able to get my needle through it when I put the signatures in. But I do want it to have stability, and if it's closer to the size of the front and the cover and the back, then I feel like it just works better. There. And what I'm going to cover it with is this fabric. Where did I put it? This fabric that I have previously picked out, I used on the other book. And it doesn't have to be very big. Boy, don't I have a scrap of it? I guess not. I'm gonna... It doesn't matter. I'm just setting these on here just to kind of see how wide I need to cut this strip. You don't need to go too far onto your cover and back, but just enough to hold it on there. You'll see what I mean in a minute here. That was awkward because I was at an awkward angle here. Oh my goodness, look at all the threads. And I want this to be able to wrap around the length of the book. Okay. Now, depending on where you want your overlap to be in your book is where you're going to set your thing. So this is the inside of your book. This is going to get wrapped around like this. So depending on where you want this to end up is where you want to set it. And the reason that I say that, you're like, why would you want it to be in different places? Well, sometimes, like if you don't want it to show, you may want to put it so that it ends up like in the middle. But sometimes it looks nice if this edge is frayed and it shows at the bottom. Let's see if I can show you. Like this. It just gives it a little bit of a frayed look on the bottom. I'm not going to do that. I want mine to be more in the middle. So I'm going to set these in the middle like this. So first, though, I'm going to do, and it doesn't have to be exact, I'm going to put my spine in. And I'm just setting it in the middle of the fabric strip, like that. And then I just want to make sure that there's no wrinkles. Which there's one right there. Come on. Go. Okay. And then this is going to go here. You want to kind of make sure it's straight. So that's going to go there. So I'm just putting a little glue on the edge of the book. You don't have to try to get it like exactly the width of this. I'm going to smooth it out so that if it dries, it won't see lines. Because you can tack the rest of it down afterwards. To make sure that you're leaving enough space so that your book can open and close. And then a lot of that, how much space you leave, depends on how thick your covers are. I might have left a little too much room there, but actually not really. And then we're just going to pull the spine fabric up. Just smoothing it as you go. Okay. And there we have our journal. There's the cover, the inside, and you have to keep, you know, fiddling with it, smoothing it out until it's where you want it to be. And the back. Now from here, you can do more decorating. You can decorate inside here, or you can decorate outside. I was thinking of putting this. I like to kind of trim the edges of this, but sometimes, again, depending on what look you want, the frayed fabric looks okay. And if that's, you know, the look that you're going for, that's great. You don't need to do anything else. But I was thinking of putting this on there. What do you think about that? I kind of like it. I think I'm going to do that. I'm just trying to think of where to cut this so that it's now for this, because I'm gluing this down, and this is a little bit harder to glue. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with my thing here? I'm going to use this clear gel. To me, it feels like it's a little bit stronger than the white glue. I don't know if it is or not, but in my mind it is. So if it is in my mind, then it is. That's how I do it. And it dries, it's going to dry clear because it's clear glue. So if you have something that the glue might seep through on, it's a good glue to use. Like that. And I'll trim that off when it's dry. I always thought this was such cute trim. And here's the thing, if you think something is cute and you like it, use it. Don't leave it sitting on your shelf. Because it's just better off being used where you can see it. Or, you know, if you're giving something away and, oh, you don't really want to use that piece of fabric on something you're giving away because you love it, then don't. Make something for yourself with it. But leaving it sitting on the shelf is not, you can enjoy it much more if you make it into something. You didn't buy it to sit it on the shelf, did you? That is something that I have learned with my scrapbooking supplies. I have scrapbooking stuff, paper and stickers and stuff from, you know, a good 20 years ago. And it does no good sitting on my shelf. And I'm finally, like, allowing myself to use it. And I'm enjoying it while I'm working with it, and I'm enjoying it when it's on the finished product. Okay. I'm going to set this aside and let this dry for a little bit while we work on the signature. Well, how much time have we got? Oh, gosh. This time goes by so quickly, even when I'm, like, really prepared in doing this stuff. So in my sample, I have 2 signatures. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pieces of paper in each signature. It's just a little book, so you don't need a whole lot. And I know me, I'm going to decorate this, and it's going to, you know, puff it up a bit. So 6 pages is plenty for my signature. This is what I took out of the book, so I want to just look and see if there's anything in here that I want to use. I don't think so, because I don't really want to do the alphabet theme. Actually, what I want to do is cut the... I want to cut the signature so that I know what's going to be on the front and the back. In case there's some letters that I do want to use. I'm probably not, because this is cute, but I think if I were going to use these, I would just do a whole alphabet book. Probably. So I'm not going to use these. That one's kind of yucky, but I will save them for a future use. This came out from the other book. Did I use all the other pages? I don't know where all the other pages went to from the other book. But I'm not going to use that either. Okay, so I have some paper here. Some of this is from books that I had in the haul, and some of it is just other stuff. My papers, I want them to be Is this 2 3/4 by 4? So if I were to fold this at 2 3/4, it would be about here. Now, what about there? I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to measure where this is going to land. I like that side of it. Okay. No, that's not right. Okay. Yep, that's right. So this is the size paper that we want to be cutting. So I have like some map paper from the map book. I don't know why I didn't pull any of the pink map paper that I liked so much. 5 different colors. I still have the book here, so I'm gonna find one of these pink pages that I liked so much. I don't think it matters which one I use. This may be a really weird way to do my papers, but when I'm working on such a small scale, I am not using, obviously, full-size sheets of paper. So you have to kind of figure out how your what size paper you need and what's going to work. What did I say? 6 for each signature? I think that's what I said. That worked. I like this one. I really should just measure. What did I say? I did measure, didn't I? Oh, Mary, sometimes you do things the hard way, and you really could do them the easy way. So this is 5.5 by 4. Let's see. I'm going to cut this here. 1.5. So there's 2 map pages. There's a couple of these. I love this grid paper. It's pink. Four. Five and a half. 5.5. Okay, that worked out perfect. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. I need another one of those. I've got some other, what is this? Ledger paper. Let's see, 4. Five and a half. I should have prepared these papers ahead of time. I'm so sorry. You know what? I'm gonna pause you and then I'll come back because this is gonna be like way too long. So I will be back in a minute. Okay. I have put my signatures together, cleaned up a little bit, and I'm ready to sew them in. So I have 2 signatures. Each one has 6 papers, making it 12 pages, if that makes sense. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 6 more is 12 pages. So 6 pieces of paper folded in half for each signature. And we are ready to sew them in. I'm going to go ahead and, this isn't like completely dry, which probably isn't a good idea to sew, but I'm going to do it anyway because I need to finish this video. I'm just going to cut these off. Now, if they need a little bit more glue on the ends, I can do that at any time. I'm not going to do it right now, just because we're sewing signatures in now. We're not doing that. All right. So the first thing I want to do is mark in here and make my holes. Let's see. I have to measure how big the how wide the spine is, so I know where I'm going to put my 2 signatures. So I'm kind of using my centering ruler here to try to get this 0 mark right in the center of the spine, and it looks like that's about it right there. So I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. I'm going to use a piece of paper. This is about the width, but I'm going to trim it a little bit. So there's 2 different ways that I do my spines, depending on how many signatures I'm putting in. Since I'm doing 2 signatures, I'm not putting one right in the center. If I were putting one right in the center, if I were doing 3 signatures or even 5, I could very easily mark out the center spot, and then I do one in the center and one on each side, an even length apart. But I'm only doing 2, so I'm not finding the center. I hope this makes sense to you. I don't know. This is a little bit bigger than this paper is a little tiny bit wider than this spine, but that's all right. I'm going to use it anyway, because what it's going to do is it's going to help me mark where I want my holes. This can get confusing. That's why it's not a tutorial. And like I've said, there's so many different ways to do this that it's very hard to explain it. When I'm doing this by myself, not on camera, you know, I kind of play around with it a little bit and figure out exactly where I'm trying to do this stuff. And I can't see on this black thing. That's better. Oh, that's much better. Okay, so what I'm marking right now is the center. Is this 4 inches? No. Why is this not 4 inches? How many inches is this? Right. Oh, because it's 4 1/4. Okay. All right, so that'll be 2 1/8 on each side. Okay. All right, I got it now. So using my centering ruler, this is the center of my spine right here. But I do not want my signatures in the center of the spine. So I want them evenly spaced. Let's put it here. No, I think they should go out a little bit more here and here. That is not a good mark. I want it right here. And right here. And then on this side, I'm going to put this in the center. And I think I'll do it, let's do 1 1/4 each way. And then I'm going to go up to the other mark that I did. And mark 1 1/4 each way. So here and here, here and here, here and here are where I want my holes to be. I know that was probably like super confusing for you, and I'm so sorry if it was. I'm trying not to be confusing, but like I said, when I'm doing this by myself, I'm just kind of talking my way through it, you know. All right, so I'm just going to poke the holes in this thing. This is just a little template. So some people mark the top. You can do that. I don't find it necessary to do that because I measured it. they're evenly spaced. But that's, you know, that's up to each individual person if they want to do that or not. Now, I feel like they're a little bit too close to the edge of the book here. So when I make my holes, I'm going to make them just a little bit. And what I'm doing now is I'm just marking through the holes that I made. If I mark the thing, then I don't have to hold the paper here when I'm doing these holes. All right, now I'm making the holes. Let's see how close they are. I don't like that. So I'm going to make them a little bit in towards the center of the hole of where I marked it. And this is not a good idea because this isn't going to work like this. The problem is that my glue is not dry, and so the cardboard is too soft, and that's not pushing through. And I don't think my other tool is going to work either. Well, let's try it. You see how it's just pushing the cardboard? Well, it went through. It's probably not going to be the prettiest. Yeah. I don't like how this is pushing on the cardboard like that. When you do this, make sure all your glue and everything is dry before you do this. Because I feel like it's not going to work very well. Where did my needle go that I had right here? Yikes, I lost my needle. I do not like losing needles. There it is. Yeah, this is not working. Not working well at all. Like I said, not a tutorial. Okay, that's through. I'm just trying to make my holes big enough all the way through. Okay. This one's probably going to come out a little bit wonky because of this issue, but it's okay. It's perfectly all right. All right. Goodness gracious. It usually is not that hard to put the holes in, but like I said, because the thingies were... All right. Signature. And take your signature. Make sure if you have things that have a direction, like music or words, that they're all going the right way. That is like a mistake everybody makes at least once. Once you've made that mistake once, you probably won't make it again. Now with this, I'm just going to mark the holes. I'm not using that template because I know my measurements. So I'm finding my center of my page, marking the center. And what did I say it was? 1 1/4? Yep, So it's 1 1/4 and 1 1/4 is where my holes are going. I only have 6 pieces of paper, so these should go through quite easy. Yep. Okay. I'm going to quickly sew the first signature in just to show you how I do it. Then I'm going to pause and I'm going to do the second signature off camera just for time's sake, because I know this is running super long. So there's 1, 2, 3 lengths of your book. Oh boy, I always hate threading needles. Okay, make sure everything is in the right direction. Do I need that on there? Yeah, I do. Mary, you shouldn't have taken that off. I'm going to go in the middle. In the middle here. Oh boy, this is not going to cooperate, is it? Come on. I need you to cooperate. I'm on camera. Oh my goodness. Usually it is not this hard to get this needle through. I would just turn the camera off and do it, but some of you may not have ever seen a signature sewn in, so I just wanted to do one. Again, not a tutorial. Please don't take this as the way you actually do it. Well, it is the way that you do it, but I'm a little fumbly. I realize that. And then it doesn't matter if you go up or down. You know, if you go to this hole or this hole, it doesn't matter. But I need to make this hole bigger. This is not... I should just use that needle. But my thread is bigger, so I didn't know if I could get the thread in there. Okay, and I'm probably using too thick of a thread. I'm using this twine, and I probably should have used embroidery thread. I don't really need it to be this thick. Okay, so you went down the middle, up into one end, and then we're going all the way up to the other end. Well, that one went through nice and easy. Come on, fingers. Then you're going to go back in the middle. Here's where it gets a little tricky. Depending on what kind of thread you're using, make sure you do not split your thread. You don't want your needle to go in between the threads here, because you won't be able to pull it tight if you do that. So then you're in the middle, and then in the middle of the signature. And you want one thread on either side of the center thread. And then just pull it tight. Check your back to make sure. Check your back to make sure you didn't do what I just did. Do you see what I did? I threaded it in the wrong one. It's supposed to be over here. That's okay. We will take it out. And we will do it again. Oh, so those are the mistakes you make, and it's okay. Then you just take it out and do it again. Those are the kind of things that I think that's why beginners are afraid to start something, because they're afraid they'll do something like that. If you do something like that, it's okay. You just fix it. Everything can be fixed. The sooner that you notice the mistake, the easier it is to fix, of course. But, you know, don't be afraid of the mistakes. We all do it. And I'll tell you something that we've all done. And if you've been making journals for a little while, tell me if I'm wrong. We have all sewn a signature in upside down. I did that on my very first journal that I ever made. I sewed a signature in upside down. And of course, I didn't realize it until after I was all done sewing everything together. And I noticed it and I was like, oh no, I sewed the signature in upside down. And I thought it was like the biggest, most foolish mistake anybody could ever make. And I felt really dumb about it. Of course, it was only me. Nobody knew except me. And so I came to that conclusion that, well, I'll just have to live with it. Nobody's gonna know except me. And I'll probably forget about it after a while until I use the journal and see that it's upside down. But oh well. But stupid me didn't realize I could fix it. All I had to do was take it out and redo it. So my very first journal, I have an upside down signature. Now, even at this point, I could still take it out and redo it, but I'm not because, well, I don't even use that journal anymore. And it's a good reminder of a beginner mistake. What the heck? How I did not notice that when I turned it over to do this part, I have no idea. You probably saw it and you were probably trying to tell me and I wasn't listening. See, I had just almost split that thread, but I caught it. All right. Now you can pull it tight and make sure you don't have any bubbles and you're in the right holes. And then you can knot it or you can tie it in a bow. I'm going to just knot it for now because I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with it. And there we have our first signature. Goes this way. Yes. I almost thought that I did it upside down, but I did not. And if you want, you can just kind of press on it there. Okay, a little bit wonky, but it's okay. It's all right. I am going to I'm going to turn off the camera for a minute and get this second signature in there so that I can finish this up because, yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back to this really wonky episode of how not to sew in your signatures. Oh my goodness, I don't know what that was all about. But I've got the 2 signatures sewn in. They're a little tiny bit wonky because I moved the holes like I did, but it's okay. They're in there. Now, the first one that I did, I think my signatures were also a little bit wonky, and I covered them with this piece of material here, this little trimming. And that, I think that looks okay. I think that looks nice. This one, I think I'm just going to leave the stitching, but it is an option that you can cover it with some trim, or the other option is you can, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. Sew in your signatures first and then attach the spine to the book with the fabric so that the fabric goes over the stitches. You can also do it that way if you don't like the look of the stitches. I don't mind the look of the stitches usually. I think this one was like really wonky and I really wanted to cover them up. But this one isn't too bad. So anyway, here's our little book with our 2 signatures in it. I'm not going to take the time to do any decorating today because we are like way out of time. But what I will probably do is add this tiny little book plate up there like I did for this one. And I don't think I'm going to put anything on here like I did here just because I think that rose there speaks for itself. So I'll probably just add the book plate and that'll be the cover decor. But anyway, here's your video using things from my haul. I used the 2 little books that I bought and I made 2 little journals. I hope you enjoyed it with all its trials and tribulations, and give it a try if you have these little books or use some pieces of cardboard or something. Make sure your glue is dry before you sew your signatures in though, because it makes it a lot easier when your glue is dry. Thank you for watching and we will see you the next time. Bye-bye.